We've learned a lot about what is actually happening inside children's hospitals, but thanks to the internet, we now do. And it turns out some of these hospitals are performing horrifying experiments on children, elective hysterectomies on minors, physical and chemical castration, things you'd think would be crimes, but that apparently aren't, and that are going on in children's hospitals in the United States. And now we're learning more.
No, you're not learning more. And nothing that he stated in that segment was accurate. There are no experiments being performed on children. And literally a day after, Boston Children's Hospital was dealing with serious death threats and a bomb scare because of lunatic right-wingers who have been convinced by other lunatic right-wingers that they're doing hysterectomies on minors who identify as transgender. You have Tucker Carlson repeating the same lies. Because why not? Stochastic terrorism is his brand. That's what he does. The other thing that I'm terrorized by is his decision to wear that terrible tie with that terrible shirt.
What was he thinking? The dude is super wealthy, he should do better.
But nonetheless, let's get back to the serious component of this.
Like, what is that? What is that?
Anna, I have to confess.
Like, I just want you guys to be very clear about what we're discussing. We're discussing Tucker Carlson and right-wingers like him targeting children's hospitals
that are now dealing with bomb threats. Small
bomb threats.
Okay, so these
right-wing domestic terrorists who claim to be super pro-life, who claim to love babies so much,
have no problem spewing lies.
Lies
about these hospitals and their transgender patients,
knowing that it could get people killed. Okay, no, they terrorize people. I mean, is there a single profession left in this country that the right wing doesn't terrorize? They've gone after teachers, they've gone after librarians, they're going after doctors, they're going after healthcare experts. I mean, they're going after federal officials who deal with pandemics. They're going after children's hospitals.
Is there a single profession that right-wingers do not terrorize in this country? I wanna know.
Yeah. He's putting everybody's life in danger there.
Yeah.
And so InfoWars is doing the same thing, same exact thing. Okay, that's Alex Jones' show. So one of the hosts there said,
well, we caught him chopping up the children, but after we caught him, of course, they scrubbed our website and all the evidence, so none of that evidence exists anymore. But that's because we caught him.
No, it doesn't exist because it never existed.
No,
you made it up. And then after you make it up, you say,
well, now of course it doesn't exist because they are hiding it since we caught them.
Well, where's the evidence? Well, didn't you get their website where they explain how they chop up children before they deleted it? Didn't you get any of the evidence before they deleted it and erased it and scrubbed it? No, you didn't. Why?
Because it didn't freaking exist.
I want Tucker Carlson. I want Tucker Carlson to just explain to me. I want to know. I think everyone should be asking Tucker Carlson.
I want to know.
How many children at a children's hospital need to be maimed by a domestic terrorist that you incited for you to be happy?
Is it 10 children? Is it 20 children? How many hospitals would it be? Are you okay with just one hospital dealing with the kind of terrorism that you're directing in their direction? Or do you need more than one? Handful? Dozens? Tell us, Tucker. I want to know. I want to know.
How many innocent people need to be targeted and terrorized by your viewers for you to be happy, for you to feel good about yourself, for you to somehow believe this delusion that you are a defender of children?
When in reality, you're directing not only hatred toward them, but actual physical danger.
And it's not just him, it's also this lunatic woman, Chaya Raichik, who's decided, no, I'm gonna go ahead and call. And when you get to manufacture culture wars that somehow give you political power.
Because Americans can't be bothered to read anything.
This is what you're gonna do. This is what they peddle, Cenk. What else is Tucker gonna talk about?
Economic populism? No.
He knows that there's a whole bunch of lunatics that are unhinged, that he's primed for violence in his audience. And when he tells them things like this that are totally false, it's meant to spur them on. go kill those. Go kill the doctors and the nurses and the kids inside the hospital. And then afterwards,
What, me? I had nothing to do with it.
I just said they were chopping up little children and taking out their body parts and mutilating their genitalia. And this somebody should do something about it.
What, me? I didn't do anything. Oh, did they all get murdered? I got richer.
any sick
son of a bitch
that goes on Tucker Carlson's show and validates his points and tries to bring left-wingers and trick left-wingers into supporting
that
that
right-wing monster,
like Glenn Greenwald, Jimmy Dore, and Tulsi Gabbard, all those
hateful, horrible people.
You all are the worst people on earth.
Hateful.
And then John Avlon on CNN is yelling at Biden and Democrats. I can't believe he called MAGA Republicans semi-fascist. That is so offensive.
Yeah, it
Joe
is.
Biden,
You should
the
just call them
Democrats-
fascist. It is offensive. Just call them fascists. Call them what they are.
But I know, semi my ass. But they're literally yelling at Democrats for being too mean to poor Republicans.
Hateful.
These people are
monsters.
It's manatee orgy season in Florida. And apparently they get very, very horny during warm summer months and they mate.
Which is great. We want to protect the mating manatees. They're having a lot of fun. They're making babies.
But it turns out that Sarasota PD in Florida had to put out a statement just asking the fine people of Florida
to leave these manatee orgies alone, okay?
I don't understand humans. I don't understand them. Like, what kind of pleasure are you getting out of disrupting these manatees who are in the process of lovemaking?
Just leave them alone.
Yeah, we can't help ourselves in interfering with everything.
I know,
right?
Especially
conservatives.
Anything involving sex, conservatives want to get in the middle of it.
Right?
They want to disrupt it, and we just want them out of our business.
I like your theory that these are definitely conservatives that are interfering with the manatee.
They're gonna pass an anti-manatee orgy law soon in Florida. I have no doubt.
They're like they're going in there with a mic.
Which way are okay?
Nope, no, I don't want you doing it that way. I want you to do it. God intended for you to do it the other way.
It's like Clarence Thomas, like seething among these.
Like seething among these.
About the manatees as we speak.
The manatee's like, wait, which God? The human God or the manatee God? What do you mean it's unnatural? I'm doing it in nature. I don't get it. Can you please leave me alone? Okay, okay, now.
We're news people, we're responsible. We don't know that they're conservatives, okay?
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
But no matter what you are.
Leave the manatees alone, okay? They're having a good time.
So the one piece of ironic good news here is that because of climate change, the water is getting warmer, and warmer water apparently is good for manatee libido.
Which I did not know. Yeah.
They get real hot in the warm summer months.
When they're having sex, apparently there's a technical term for it, and I'm not kidding. It's called a manatee ball.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
I really want to emphasize that orgies exist in the natural world, right? You got 16 manatees getting it on together.
You do you, boo.
I'm not saying I'm interested in that.
I'm interested in that.
Right, for myself.
Oh, the New York Times
definitely.
will pretend you meant it.
I know they would, 100%. No, but I'm just saying, like, different strokes for different folks. And it's okay as long as you're being responsible about it.
In manatees, you don't even have to be responsible about it. You're goddamn animals. Let loose, have some fun.
100%. And it is actually illegal to touch, annoy, harass, or molest a manatee.
Please don't molest them.
Who the hell molests
Who molests manatees? No, it's definitely Republicans.
It's definitely Republicans.
It's definitely Republicans.
We're news people. We're responsible.
We don't know that
They get real hot, right?
This program is a paid commercial presentation of Information Incorporated.
The energy is going to flow in a very positive direction. Looks like you're going to be doing some very large project involved with a lot of people, and it seems like it's going to be in a different state.
But I see a lot of feelings between the two of you and a very, very positive relationship once he's really ready. Can you wait for it?
As if stripping women of their bodily autonomy and rights to make decisions about their own bodies wasn't harsh enough, Dennis Prager has put out an op-ed in a publication known as the Daily Signal to say,
Women really need to control their emotions. And
Here's how I propose they do it.
women really need to control their emotions.
So
Women really need to control their emotions.
he starts by talking about,
Women really need to control their emotions.
listen, there are some differences between men and women, okay? It's important for us to make sure we raise good boys so they don't turn into
Rapists and criminals.
okay?
Rapists and criminals.
Listen, there are some differences between men and women, okay?
Rapists and criminals.
We've been ignoring the women. We've been ignoring the women, and it's equally important. I mean, they're not
Rapists and criminals.
more predisposed to be criminals and rapists, but
Women really need to control their emotions.
listen, there are some differences between men and women, okay?
Women really need to control their emotions.
They've got those emotions, and we gotta control that, okay? To be fair, right-wing men are known for being very calm individuals. I mean, Donald Trump, our latest Republican president.
If there's one thing Trump is known for, it's keeping his head cool, never having any meltdowns. He's just an unemotional, straight to the facts kind of guy.
Overwhelm their conscience and their ability to think and act rationally. If you think that's bad, I'm just getting started, okay? Little tippy tip of the iceberg. The result is that women are disproportionately active in doing damage to our society.
it's the women, guys. It's the women with their emotions doing the damage in society.
Disproportionately.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, is he gonna get to some specifics here?
Like, what is he talking about?
What are they doing?
Setting
off nukes, dirty bombs. What are they doing disproportionately? I think that's a great question, one of many. Maybe he'll let you on his network to talk about that.
Not interested.
Yeah, there's some pretty amazing stuff there. First, do women do some bad stuff? Sure, you know why? Because they're humans.
And humans are the worst.
The idea that they disproportionately do more social evil than men is possible. It's not impossible, but it would demand strong evidence.
Real critical thinking there, right? Yeah. So let me give you some more. He lies about what goes down at children's hospitals, which of course, as I talked about on the show earlier today, leads to violence toward children's hospitals. Is there a profession that right-wingers don't mock, minimize, belittle, viciously attack?
I mean, there's baristas, college professors, bartenders, social workers. I mean,
the list goes on and on. If you happen to work for your living in this country, the Republican Party hates you. And they tell you every day, literally every day. Considering the fact that this man is like weirdly thinking about sexualizing children, I think the only thing we should be thinking about is whether or not
castration for Dennis Prager makes some sense.
I'm worried about that guy. Number two, though, is
seriously, like Boston Children's Hospital just dealt with a serious bomb threat. Luckily, no one got hurt. Luckily, the threat wasn't actually carried out in reality.
But they've been dealing with nonstop threats because of people like Dennis Prager claiming that they're mutilating children.
When they're not.
When they're not. And by the time someone's an adult,
okay,
I would kindly ask people like Prager to
shut up and stay out of people's business.
It's not Dennis Prager's freaking business to discuss what he thinks an adult should do with his or her body.
So Leonardo DiCaprio likes to date young women. Women is the key word here because we're talking about adults.
But by the time they hit 25,
He's kind of done with them.
Let him go.
No, okay, but that's the thing. Cenk is a man, so I feel like your opinion matters less in this conversation.
I think it matters more in this conversation.
Okay, all right. Let's put his B-roll back up. Because I think that's.
Take Cenk off. Put Leonardo DiCaprio back on. I see you.
Okay, so before I get into any details, let me just say this. Can you blame him? I mean, if you can do it, why wouldn't you? That's the only take I really have about this. So why, like, who cares? If they're two adults, who cares? And by the way, if the women he's dating know that he has a history of dumping women before they turn 25, you know what's gonna happen, right? So start squirreling some of those resources away while you're with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking out for you too, ladies.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if that's the best way to look at it. All right,
You know what I'm saying?
I might have some surprising views here.
You know
But
what I'm
first,
saying?
Camila Morone and him apparently broke up.
Yeah.
Who's Camila Morone? I have no idea.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
apparently she turned 25, so it's time to go. He really does break up with them at the age of 25. At least according to these folks who have tracked it. I'm not personally tracking it myself.
She's the, okay, so Morone is now the fourth woman to stop dating DiCaprio after her 25th birthday as the Oscar winner's age continues to rise like water on the Titanic.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
LA Times, Christy Cara's super salty over at the LA Times.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Anyway, so this story also forced me to look up all of his girlfriends because they were listed.
Forced you.
It forced me. There was nothing I could do because you know why? I'm a newsman. So I had to look up the news. It turns out, yeah, they're shockingly attractive. Who could have figured? Because you know why? I'm a newsman. So I had to look up the news. But all right, so now to the core of the story.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, so were the women gorgeous? Yes.
You know what I'm
Are
saying?
25-year-olds more attractive than older women?
Let's not continue that sentence. How about we move on?
No, hold on.
You know what I'm saying?
No, not holding on.
No, hold on. No. Look, I wouldn't do what Leo's doing, even though obviously I could if I wanted. Because you know why? I'm a newsman. So I have to look up the news. Are you really having that deep connection with them? And maybe for some of them, the answer might be yes. But I can't imagine the answer is yes for all of them.
I can definitely imagine having a very deep connection with Leonardo DiCaprio. Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Even if I were 25, younger than 25. Very deep connection.
Well,
You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
put the B-roll back up again. B-roll. Let's look at the B-roll, everybody. No, just kidding. Except I'm not. If you
You
want to
know
put the
what I'm
B-roll
saying?
up, I mean, I'm not going to stop you. But anyway, also thinking about the advice I want to give to ladies, and it goes way beyond Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, it's mostly the advice my mom gave me, and it's the best advice I've ever gotten. Ladies,
Go get your money.
okay, and what I mean by that is,
Go get your money.
be super independent to the point where
You don't need a man, right?
like you don't need anyone to take care of you. I mean, it's good to have a partner. I love that I'm married. It's one of the best parts of my life. So I'm not minimizing that.
You don't need a man, right?
But what I do worry about is like young women who get caught up in these relationships that they think is gonna last forever. And then the guy leaves her because all he cares about is how young she is or how pretty she is. And then she's left not knowing what to do. Like your number one priority as a woman,
Go get your money.
especially in this country, is figuring out how you can take care of yourself and how you can do it all without the help of a man.
You don't need a man, right?
and then have fun, right?
Because if you got a good head on your shoulders and you have a good bright future ahead of you because you're strategizing, you're planning, you're working real hard.
Then you get to have fun with all the F-boys out there if you want to.
People like Leo. And then how about you leave him before you turn 25? How about you give him double middle finger, deuces baby, and walk out? That's what you should do.
That's what I would do.
If he were dating 18-year-olds, guilty or not guilty? I said guilty. What do you think?
What is this, a bear trap? What's going on here? I know all of a sudden I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio with the fighting the bear in that movie. Sure, guilty.
No, 18 on. No, 18, like, it's not illegal, obviously, but 18, man. I've
guys,
been
look.
18. 18-year-olds are kids. They're still kids. You're still a kid. I love you. They're still
kids. You're still a kid. I love you.
18-year-olds these days are far more mature than 18-year-olds from like even my generation, but still, you're still a kid. You just are. You don't know it yet, but you'll know eventually.
They're still kids. You're still a kid. I love you. You don't need a man, right? I love you. Go get your money.
Deuces, baby.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
So here's the deal. This continues while we're on the ground. I'm gonna have to pull back to the gate. Everybody's gonna have to get off. We're gonna have to get security involved. And it's vacation that's gonna be ruined. So you folks, whatever that airdrop thing is, quit sending naked pictures. Let's get yourself to Cabo.
What you just heard was a Southwest pilot literally threatening to turn the plane around midair because unruly passengers did not want to stop sending nudes through airdrop.
It's a long flight, you know.
What happened to us?
You ever been in a cockpit before?
No, sir, I've never been up in a plane before.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
One person said, I'm gonna turn this plane around and everyone's vacation will be ruined. One user wrote, haha, major dad vibes. No, not major dad vibes. Don't defend weirdos sending unsolicited nudes to.
Well, no, the pilot's the major dad vibes.
No, the pilot did the right thing.
In the metaphor, this would be like a family vacation where you're all in the car, but like two of the family members are sending nudes to each other. That would be the equivalent situation here. And at that point, you should pull over, and it's gonna be an uncomfortable talk, but it needs to happen.
Ugh. I'm here to give people advice and inform as much as I can. And here's my advice to men. There has never been a woman in existence, ever, literally ever, who has received a penis picture and got hot and bothered by it or impressed.
Well, at least an unsolicited one.
Definitely.
No.
What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. Holy shit, dude. Holy fucking shit, dude.
For women,
literally lying.
Getting hot and bothered is far more psychological than just seeing a body part.
I think we need a poll. Sorry,
sure
let me word that differently. I'm gonna deny your airdrop request, don't send me any polls. But we should set up a poll and find out. Now this would of course have to be for consensual ones. I'm not interested in, like, I don't think people are like getting hot and bothered over like, oh God. But like, have you ever wanted it to be sent to you? It was sent to you and it did something. I think it's more than you think.
Okay.
And I'm talking about, I guess in this case, you want to talk about women.
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm talking about women specifically.
I think it's more than you think.
I mean, there is such thing as a better looking penis. Okay, but even if
it's a beautiful penis.
If it is
penis.
An impressively large penis.
Or if it's
Large
Impressively
penis.
small.
Or just a beautiful penis.
Large penis.
And you need to get nice depth of field, get a little bit of
background separation,
nice
some
depth of
good
field,
light,
get
and
a little bit of
dynamic
you need to
background
get
separation,
nice
some
depth
good light,
with a
and
large,
dynamic
you
background
like the
separation,
separation
some
with a
good light,
large,
and
like really
dynamic
emphasize.
background
Yeah, you
I'm
get a bit
now
of that
starting
stuff.
to understand your
Want to get some
perspective.
bokeh in the background?
Depth of field. You gotta
Maybe
make
get
sure.
some string lights that you can sort of blur a little bit. Make it arty.
John, as someone who is a public figure, shut up. All right, let me continue.
No, that's the thing. I'm so blurred in the photo, you can't tell it's me.
It's just a
large penis.
Honestly.
I hope there's lessons learned in this because this is a new thing. We had never had this before. No one who is alive today had ever experienced a true pandemic. And I'm hoping that now that this is over, people are going to, recognize that some serious errors were made and not repeat those. That's the best you can get out of it. But as far as compensation for all those people that were forced to close their businesses and keep their doors shuttered and lost everything that they'd worked for decades to build, no, they're just going to be angry. So what do you tell those people? Vote Republican.
Vote Republican. That is the advice from podcaster Joe Rogan following the Democrats' handling of the coronavirus pandemic, including the shutdowns that occurred. And if I remember correctly, Cenk, the most strict shutdowns occurred in the beginning of the pandemic when...
Was it Joe Biden who was president in the beginning of the pandemic in like March of 2020? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was Donald Trump.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. And that
so that's why you should obviously vote Republican.
Yeah. And to be sure, that was the context of the discussion. They were talking about businesses suffering as a result of shutdowns and the like. But what's amazing about a man who was not financially harmed at all by the pandemic is that he is so obsessed with it that his take is
vote for Republicans.
Legalize marijuana federally and to take it off the list as a Schedule 1 drug. That's something that Joe Rogan cares deeply about. Ain't no Republican gonna do that. So curious, what's more important, COVID and the shutdowns that had no impact on you whatsoever?
But as far as compensation for all those people that were forced to close their businesses, so what do you tell those people?
Or legalizing marijuana. I don't know, but he thinks vote Republican.
Joe Rogan with all his fake talk about.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lot of times I'm on the left. Oh yeah, abortion. I'm worried about abortion. Oh yeah.
vote Republican. Oh, okay, that's right. Vote Republican.
So Anna's absolutely right. Half of what Rogan and Aaron Rodgers are saying is not controversial. It's interesting. It's a topic that should be debated, right? When should we have done the lockdowns? What should we have done?
Vote Republican.
I don't know that I would have shut down the schools. And so that's a super interesting question and one that could really be debated. All the outdoor stuff was nonsense, and we knew fairly early on that it was nonsense, and we said on the show that it was nonsense. I talked about how people are wearing masks, they're like 100 feet away from you, and then I told the story how somebody yelled at me. I'm like,
we're outside, and we're nowhere near each other, and you're wearing a mask.
This is not a thing. That's not science. No scientist actually says that you can catch COVID in this circumstance, right?
So facts matter. Vote Republican.
And one side went ballistic. Even to this day, a lot of people are still wearing masks in ridiculous situations. I see people wearing masks inside their own car, driving by themselves. I love you guys, but what are you doing? That's not science.
So facts matter. Vote Republican.
You can never be too safe.
Well, no, actually you can. It's absurd.
Yeah, it is.
So on the other hand, Rogan and Aaron Rodgers totally wrong about.
I was like, no big deal, man. Yeah, government. They should shut down the restaurants and the businesses for no reason.
What are you talking about, no reason? That's the framing that they give it, right? No, millions of people died from COVID. It was very real.
It was very dangerous. There was good reason to shut down some things, like offices where it can spread like crazy. A movie theater where it can spread like crazy. So saying that we shouldn't have taken any precautions
is totally nuts, though.
So they're dead wrong, okay?
So they're dead wrong.
This is my issue with the Rogans of the world. They sprinkle in some opinions from the left from time to time. And when push comes to shove, they take their whole audience and shepherd them right into the Republican hands. And the right wing is a bunch of—
the Republicans are monsters.
Let alone all the monstrous things they do. So no, I'm not interested in anyone telling me that Rogan can't, like, oh boy, Republican or Democrat, right?
I can't tell. We just told you, vote Republican.
The messaging that people received from right-wing politicians on a state level, on a federal level, and right-wing podcasters like Rogan was don't get vaccinated.
Right? I mean, that's what we heard over and over again.
But I'm gonna make, I guess, a controversial point, which is
I don't think Rogan cares.
So what do you tell those people?
I don't think any of the people complaining about how Democrats handled coronavirus really care about deaths or hospitalizations. They don't care. They just don't care. They care about whether or not they're gonna be inconvenienced.
So what do you tell those people?
And that's really what this is about. Period. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm so glad you made that last point, Anna. So look, if people look at things from their own perspective, that's relatively normal. But if you're a talk show host or commentator, you should try to be mindful of everyone's perspective and how it affects everyone.
For all those people that were forced to close their businesses and keep their doors shuttered and lost everything that they'd worked for decades to build, no, they're just gonna be angry. So what do you tell those people?
But you'll notice that guys like Bill Maher and Joe Rogan are obsessed with several things. One is,
oh, cancel culture. I can't believe they're canceling comedians and not paying us enough.
And they think that's like the biggest issue in America. Why? Because it affects their pocketbook.
For all those people that were forced to close their businesses, and
it barely affects anyone else. And
they're multimillionaires. They're multimillionaires, and it doesn't even affect their pockets.
I know, but they're hurt. But their feelings are hurt by it, right?
Oh, sorry.
And they're like,
oh, I want to be able to make any joke I like. I don't like that. Okay. Is that really the biggest issue in America? And right wing does more cancel culture than left wing, but you never talk about that because it doesn't affect you, right?
For all those people that were forced to close their businesses, and
you say you're worried about abortion and other issues, but it doesn't really affect you. But hey, you know what? I want to be able to take ivermectin, man. I want to be able to take ivermectin, man. Okay, but wait, look, don't you know that Donald Trump saying you should inject yourself with bleach is the dumbest thing in the whole wide world? It should be immediately disqualifying. If Bernie Sanders ever said anything that stupid, I'd be like, oh, Jesus, I didn't realize he was that much of an idiot. Wow, we got to find a new leader, right? But Rogan goes, I don't care. I don't care what the ivermectin.
But Rogan goes, I don't care. I don't care what the ivermectin.
Right? So he's like, yeah, great. Trump is awesome. Vote Republicans, vote Trump, yay! Right?
By the way, I'm not a Trump supporter in any way, shape, or form. I've had the opportunity to have him on my show more than once. I've said no every time.
I know in the right wing world, anything that's inconvenient, you're
like, Google made it up, ABC made it up. Every scientist in the world made it up.
Okay, if you want to be a lunatic, that's your call. There's nothing I can do about that. But Rogan doesn't care about all those dead people because he wanted to be able to take ivermectin.
I don't care what the ivermectin.
It's all about him.
For all those people that were forced to close their businesses, and
he did though. Like that's the thing I don't get.
How did any of this
in any way negatively impact Joe Rogan?
For all those people that were forced to close their businesses, and
you weren't economically impacted by the coronavirus pandemic because you've got your own podcast studio, and I think you have like one person working for you. Like
I just don't get the constant cry fest.
For all those people that were forced to close their businesses, and
then I think about the majority of Americans who have real struggles and real things to complain about.
For all those people that were forced to close their businesses, and
Jesus Christ.
Trump had fake electors ready to go to overturn our democracy. His supporters were chanting, hang Mike Pence, as they looked to murder his own vice president. Trump's chief of staff said Trump knew it and did not mind and thought that Mike Pence deserved it. Rogan knows all this, knows that they can
kill democracy.
By the way, I'm not a Trump supporter in any way, shape, or form.
And almost the entire Republican Party now supports Donald Trump.
His effort to kill democracy.
But hey, you want to go, hey man? No,
You want to go, hey man? I want to be a little bit more free. I want to be able to say stupid things without any consequences. It's all about me.
You want to go, hey man?
Get out of here. He's obviously a right-wing knucklehead. Case closed. I want to be able to take ivermectin, man. You want to go, hey man? But Rogan goes, I don't care. I don't care what the ivermectin.
Like. Oh, you're so sick. Like.